Welcome to the Woman of Honor series. Good morning to everyone. Today we are going to learn from the Old Testament, 1 Kings 17th chapter, verses 17 to 24. The subject is a story says the widow's son raised from dead. The time of prophet Elijah, we know this incident happened. We are reading in the Old Testament, 1 Kings chapter 17. Here when we look, the woman who owned the house was the widow's widow. Her young son fell ill and finally stopped breathing. Some Bible critics says the boy was only unconscious, not dead, and that his restoration was therefore not a miracle. However, verses 18, 20, 22 and 23 make it clear that he had actually died. The woman had a guilty conscience and immediately concluded that God was punishing her for her sin by killing her son. This is a common reaction among many people who do not know God's ways. Well, when personal tragedy enters their lives. John chapter 9, 2 and 3. What sin she was referring to is not stated here. The boy was small enough to be carried in his mother's arms. Many rooms in Palestine at that time had guest rooms built on their roofs. It was in one such upper room that Elijah was staying. Elijah's first prayer in verses 20 simply expressed his compassion for the woman who, in addition to the trials of the famine, now also had to bear this tragedy. Implicit in the prayer was the desire that God relieve her of the added burden. Often in case of miraculous restoration and healing, God's servant placed his hand on the afflicted one to indicate that the power of God in him was passing to the needy individual. In this instance, Elijah, out of heartfelt concern, stretched himself out, placing the whole body of the lad in contact with his own. 3 times Elijah did this, praying each time that God would restore the boy's life. Persistence in prayer is a fundamental requisite for obtaining one's petitions. It says in Matthew chapter 7, 7 and 8, Luke 11, 5 to 13, and also persistence of prayer about that incident says. It is proved effective in this case also. God miraculously restored the boy's life. This is the first recorded instance in scripture of a restoration to life of one who had died. Elijah carried the lad downstairs. The boy was apparently weak and presented him to his mother. This miracle proved to the woman that Elijah was indeed a man of God and that the word of the Lord that Elijah claimed to speak was indeed the truth. This incident showed the widow and others that the power of the Lord as the true God contrasted greatly with the impotency of the Baal the god the others was worshipping. With this, I will conclude this small video. God bless you all.